Shalom. This week's Sedra Ki Tisah. This is an amazing, amazing Sedra encompassing the Egel Zahav, the golden calf. I'd like to focus on something that happens right afterwards, and it's an interesting, really basis of our entire philosophy. And I'm going to ask you the viewers' apologies beforehand. I'm going to quote extensively from the Rabbi. Dvar Torah won't be any longer than it usually is. It'll be under 4 minutes, but I'm going to have to read a lot, and I apologize for the quotations and the lack of focus of my eyes on the camera, but I hope that the great words of the Rambam will act as an excuse for my lack of attention to you, the viewer. Intellectual achievement is the greatest accomplishment that man can attain. Man is at its best when it has mastered knowledge. Like animals, man eats, man sleeps, man procreates, it hunts, but what differentiates humans from animals is its intellect. Our humanity is not simply in the kindness that man shows to others, but in the intelligence man develops within himself. In this Dvar Torah, I'll explain one of the most central philosophical ideas of the Torah. Like I said, relying heavily on the words of the Rambam, I'll combine fundamental ideas with the request of Moshe in our Sedra to teach an essential notion in man's quest for knowledge. I aim for the reader to gain inspiration to study and reach higher intellectual feats from this Dvar Torah. Maimonides lists one of the greatest principles of our faith, and he says, and I quote, "It is explicitly stated in the Torah and the works of the prophets that Hashem is not confined to a body or physical form." In our Sedra, Moshe asks Hashem, "If I have found favor in your eyes, please let me know your way, so that I will know you. Please grant me a vision of your glory." It seems that Moshe is asking to see Hashem. Maimonides picks up on the seeming contradiction of God having no body, and yet Moshe asking to see it. What did Moshe want when he requested, "Please show me your glory," Maimonides explains? And he says, Moshe asked to know the truth of the existence of Hashem, to the extent that it could be internalized within his mind, as one knows a particular person whose face he saw, and whose image has been engraved within one's heart. Thus, this person's identity is distinguished within one's mind from that of other men. Similarly, Moshe asked that the existence of Hashem be distinguished in his mind from the existence of other entities, to the extent that he would know the truth of his existence as it is in its own right. The problem with Moshe's request is that he was asking for the impossible. As Maimonides explains, Hashem replied to him that it is not within the potential of living man, a creature of body and soul, to comprehend this matter in its entirety. Nevertheless, Hashem revealed to Moshe matters which no other man had known before him, nor would ever know afterward, until he was able to comprehend enough from the truth of Hashem's existence for Hashem to be distinguished in his mind from other entities, just as a person is distinguished from other men when one sees his back and knows the structure of his body and the manner with which he is clothed. Moshe wasn't really asking to see Hashem, something that Moshe knew that was impossible, but rather to understand Hashem. Yet what he wanted to understand was not possible for man to comprehend, and Hashem gave him just enough for him to be able to grasp as much as he needed of Hashem's existence. While intellectual achievement is the greatest accomplishment man can attain, mankind must also realize its intellectual limitations. Man strives to know as much as it can, and it thrives when it discovers new information. But not everything is knowable, and God tops the list of man's limits as to what it can understand. While the idea of unknowable information both frustrates and depresses those that strive for intellectual greatness, the idea that something that exists so great as to elude man's grasp inspires man's enchantment with knowledge. The first step towards intellectual triumph is the humility that stems from the recognition that not all is knowable. I hope that you too appreciate this great treasure that we have in our Torah and intellectual greatness. And yes, I know I went just a slight bit over 4 minutes. Shabbat Shalom.